Good morning, everyone. I am the Reverend Ellen Quadgrass, serving here at South Church in co-leadership with Kirsten Hunter and in shared ministry with all of you. This morning is a special moment in the life of our congregation. Every so often, a community pauses to ask who we are, what calls to us now, and how do we hope to live our values in the years ahead. In this shared ministry of ours, you have helped shape that conversation through a workshop, vision circles, and countless thoughtful reflections. Today, we gather those threads. A little later in the service, we will vote on a new vision statement. And while only members can vote, everyone is warmly welcomed to stay and witness this turning point in our shared life. We've shaped this service so that the vote will begin as close to 11 as possible. I'm grateful to be here today with Anna Howard, our worship associate, with Johnny Pfeiffer offering original music, with Kathy Okeisen and Jen Leiden leading us in song, with Ben Abbott making it possible for people near and far to join us. Welcome. Kirsten will offer our time for all ages, and then our children are invited downstairs for religious education. It is a full day in other ways, too. It is the final day of our budget drive, and Anita has an announcement for us about that. Surprise, surprise.
This is just a really brief announcement. I just want to thank everybody who has pledged so far. We are more than 50% of the way there, so thank you. You still have time if you have not pledged yet. We have a raffle that we're going to do today around 11:30. If you get your pledge in now, you'll be included in the raffle for 2 nights at Star Island. And the other prize is a private trip on the MV Utopia to Wood Island Museum for up to 15 people. So, if you haven't gotten your pledge in, please do. Thank you.
Anita, if people pledge today, can they still be entered into the raffle?
Absolutely, yes. And if you've already pledged, your name is automatically in the raffle. So, you're already included. But if you want to add your name to the bucket, please pledge.
That's pretty exciting. Thanks, Anita. Other announcements are in your order of service. So many wonderful things happening here, including an interfaith Thanksgiving service, which will happen right here in the sanctuary at 4 p.m. Also, there will be a Friendsgiving the following Sunday, also here downstairs at 4 p.m. And then the following Sunday, December 5th, will be our all-ages Hanging of the Greens holiday gathering. It's all in your order of service. Come one, come all. All of these are wonderful opportunities for fellowship and connection. And I want to name, it is the last day of our auction. It was fantastic and exciting last night, and you still have time to put your bids in for those silent auction items. That will be happening until noon. And if you are new or visiting, there's a QR code in your order of service. You can sign up for our newsletter so we can welcome you more fully. Listening devices and large print hymnals are available at the back, and ushers can help you with either one. But for now, I invite us to take a breath, settle into this space, and open ourselves to the spirit and vision that gather us here as we turn to hear a word from Paula Mauser as we wrap up the visible part of this year's stewardship season.
Good morning. My name is Paula Mauser, and my husband and I, Mike, became members of South Church about 2 years ago. This is our daughter, Mira. the right community can be difficult to find when you're new to an area. Even more challenging for parents with young children like us is providing environments where they feel safe, supported, and accepted in our current time. Neither Mike nor I grew up as Unitarian Universalists, yet we knew from our first visit that at South Church we had found our people and our place. Something that initially drew us to South Church was the outstanding religious education program led by Jen Del Deo Barry and supported by a committed group of multi-generational volunteers. Our daughter, who was 8 when we began coming to UU, initially resisted RE classes and instead would stay in the congregation with us, rolling around in the pews and distracting me from the message. Jen and Donna Waldron tried to connect with Mira for months until a breakthrough occurred, and Mira decided she was ready to be part of the classes. Now she loves the RE activities and is making new friends and mentors with shared UU values. This past summer, Mira participated in the UU Roots program, an extraordinary summer camp led by Jen with a focus on community and service. Although she was the oldest camper, Mira found joy assisting younger kids and serving as a role model during camp activities. At the end of the week, she expressed, "I wish Roots Camp happened every week." And we use that excitement to add elements of service and community to our daily lives. Building these intergenerational connections through the RE programming is an aspect of South Church that I value the most. A second source of inspiration for me has been deciphering the interconnections that are woven between the music, opening words, and sermons each week. It is clear that South Church ministries and pastoral associates work very closely to integrate powerful lessons, which often remain on my mind well beyond the service. And although I'm not an overly emotional person, at least one aspect of the service always reaches me so deeply that it can't hold back tears of joy or sadness. South Church brings me hope that goodness and forgiveness will prevail. So finances are tough for folks of our generation. The cost of everything is rising, and we're saving for retirement, Mira's college, and endless home renovations. But we give each month to South Church to support the outstanding staff, programs, and spaces that make it such an important foundation in our family's continued spiritual growth. I encourage you to also give if you're able. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Since vision must always begin with where we are, we start by remembering the ground beneath us and the stories that came long before our own. Because we gather on the ancestral homelands of the Abenaki and Pennacook peoples who cared for these lands and waters with long, steady commitment. Their enduring relationship with this place reminds us that any vision worth holding must be rooted in respect, responsibility, and care for the world that we share. May this remembrance help us to open our hearts so that the love we seek to embody and the courage we hope to practice may take deeper root in us. May it guide us as we continue in worship.
Open my heart to all that I see. Let me be part of the love you give. Open my heart to all that I see. Let me be part of the love you give.
we light this chalice to remind us who we are. Seekers of purpose and truth, bearers of love, and builders of a more compassionate and just world together. Now please rise and join us in reciting our mission statement that is printed in your order of service. At South Church, we nurture spiritual growth through worship, learning, and community. We celebrate the worth and dignity of all people, and we inspire one another to act on our faith on larger community. Here's a confession. I am a bit of a control freak. I love efficiency. I color code my to-do lists. All my PowerPoint slides have the same format, and I plan everything: vacations, job searches, Sasha's school choices, and my family's 17-year budget with a spreadsheet. I managed to choose the perfect career for someone who loves checklists, accounting. As a result, I spent most of my professional life in corporate world, where meetings start on time and end on time, and ideally come with an agenda, timelines, and a list of action items. So when I started volunteering on church committees, I marched in with the same energy. I had timelines, I had spreadsheets, I needed everyone to stick to the agenda. Why are we talking about someone's childhood in the middle of calendar dates discussion? Tangents frustrated me a lot. Lori knows what I'm talking about. Right about the same time, a book was floating around. It's called Serving with Grace by Eric Walter Wickstrom. So I read it. He writes that church committees aren't about getting business done. They're about giving everyone a chance to speak and be heard. They're about connection and community. The meeting itself is a part of spiritual life together. The meeting itself is a part of spiritual life together. It was a revelation. In this space, the goal is relationship. It's belonging. So I softened. I slowed down. I relaxed my obsession with the agenda. I began to see holy in the tangents, the purpose in the pauses, and the spiritual practice woven into every ordinary conversation. And guess what? Now I'm starting to carry this gentler way back into my corporate world. Picture me in a Zoom meeting with my colleagues, tilting my head and saying, "Let's all take turns checking in." How is everyone feeling today? I'm getting a reputation. I am okay with that because it feels like I am waking up to this new perspective, a vision where the work isn't just about what we do, but how we do it, where purpose and connection belong together, and where every meeting, every interaction, and even every budget spreadsheet can become a place where love, compassion, and joy feel entirely at home. So now please rise as you are able and join us in singing hymn 298, Wake Now My Senses, version 1 and 5. Verses.
senses and hear the earth call. Feel the deep power of being in all. Keep with the web of creation your vow, giving, receiving as love shows us how. Wake now my vision of ministry clear, brighten my pathway with radiance here. Mingle my calling with all who will share. Work toward a planet transformed by our care.
Okay. If anyone would like to come hear a story from a little closer up, you are welcome to do so. There is some good bling going on in our outfits in the front of the room today. And some fabulous headpieces, too. Okay, so I have a story to tell you today about something amazing that we all share. And this is a story about one of the coolest subjects around, governance. So, about a year ago, it was, I think, still summertime. I think we were at social hour out on the front portico, and I believe Jen Del Deo was kind of wandering around just inside the building, and a kid at this church went up to her and said to her, "Jen, who owns this church?" And Jen looked at this kid, and her eyes got real big, and she said, "You do. And you do, and she does, and they do, and that person does, and this person does, and this person does, and this person does." And as the kid listened, their eyes got really big, and they looked around, and they looked around at all the people, and that was a pretty cool moment. And when Jen told me that story, I just loved it, because this place and this community is an incredible treasure that we all share. And it has been shared by this community in this building for almost exactly 200 years. And it has been shared by this community outside of this building centuries more than that. And those people, year after year after year, have carried this place forward. And that might sound like a really incredibly awesome thing, does it? Yes. It might also sound like a really incredibly awesome responsibility, does it? Yeah. And this time of year at the church, there's lots of signs every year around this time of year of the work that it takes to keep this place going and the things that people do to bring in energy and volunteer. This is the time of year where programs are starting and people are stepping up to help lead things. And this is the time of year where we're fundraising and people are stepping up to give of their treasure to whatever degree they can. And this is the time of year of special auctions, and board members and volunteers are stepping up to get donations and put together extravagant celebrations, right? And it's fun and wonderful and exhausting. And it's a part of what it means to create collective space. Can you guys think of any other places that belong just generally to the people? National parks. Great answer. Another one? Any other places? Yeah? Schools, like government buildings and public school systems belong to the people, right? Libraries, a zoo? Yeah, I guess sometimes, yeah. Museums sometimes. Banks. I'm not so sure about that one. But public television, right? And what all of those things have in common is that they take a tremendous amount of work, and from them we reap incredible, immeasurable rewards. And that is true about this place too. So I'm going to tell you one little other thing, and then I'm going to ask you to help me do something. Last night, it was, I think, almost entirely grown-ups were together downstairs for the live auction part of our auction. And at the very beginning, before they started talking about different things that they might want to bid on, they were kind of contributing money and getting prizes for it. It's kind of a cool grown-up fun activity thing. Right at the beginning, to get everybody started, the auctioneer asked if people who were interested in contributing to the youth trip would raise their paddles. And 40 people in that room raised their paddle. In the matter of less than 3 minutes, they raised $1,000 to help our high school youth go down to New Orleans and learn about the story of Hurricane Katrina and the story of that city. And it hit my heart so deeply. And I felt such deep appreciation for what we do together. And I wondered if you all could help me stand up and just say thank you to our community. Could you do that with me? And then we'll go downstairs and have some fun. So if we turn around and face these guys and we throw them hugs and kisses. Hugs, cross your bodies and say thank you. And kisses, throw them out. And then we're going to go downstairs. And we won't talk about governance anymore today.
It is time for the offering. While our pledges sustain this church and help us plan for its continuing life, today's offering is how we live those promises out loud, supporting the ministry we share here and extending the same spirit of generosity beyond these walls. During the month of November, our collection will be shared with Seacoast Family Promise. Seacoast Family Promise provides temporary housing, food, and shelter to families through a structured journey utilizing trauma-informed care, employment education and housing search, financial education, parenting, and other effective tools leading families back to stability and return to a place they can call home. The offering will now be gratefully received.
Let us gather our hearts and minds in a spirit of prayer or meditation. Spirit of life, presence that moves in our hearts and in the spaces between us. We pause now to breathe, to listen, to remember what matters most. We come carrying many things: unease about the world, worry perhaps for those we love, questions about the future. We also carry quiet joys, moments of kindness and beauty, the comfort of familiar faces, the simple gift of being here together. In the midst of all this, may we begin to see more clearly. May the fog of fear and distraction lift, so that a steady place may open in us where love takes root and courage grows. As we reflect on what we hear today and prepare to vote on a brand new vision, may we remember that vision is more than words on a page, but a way of living day by day. May we be guided toward what is most true in us, toward the kind of community we long to be, toward the healing of our aching worlds. For all that we hold in our hearts, may these next moments of musical meditation be a place to rest, to breathe, and to listen for what brings us alive. May it be so. Amen. Back last May, South Churchers packed the hall downstairs to dream about South Church. After that, many more of you have added your voices in vision circles and cottage meetings. You've named what you loved, you drafted statements, you pictured headlines 5 years hence. The result was a small mountain of comments and hopes and possibilities. When I looked at the resulting spreadsheets, it felt like just about 64,000 pieces of wisdom, all tugging in these various beautiful directions. What struck me most was how vivid many of the snapshots you offered were. South Church opens housing for immigrant families. A South Church member is elected to the United States Senate. South Church solves the polarization problem. Why keep it small? South Church member is elected to be the United States president. South Church rings its bell for 24 hours against local ordinance to call for justice. And then the follow-up line that particularly stood out to me, which was, minister arrested and indefinitely detained. Okay, maybe they didn't include indefinitely detained. My imagination may have added that after the fact. Point being, your pictures of the future were evocative, and I love that. You also wrote simple, honest notes about what you love about the community. It grounds me. My kids feel safe here. The people are nice, kind, loving, creative, adventurous, thoughtful, and a little bit of a pain sometimes. One of the things I love is that South Churchers will tell it like they see it. All these big dreams and small truths together give us a snapshot of who we are at heart. Now, a vision statement is not meant to be a list of all those specific ideas. No single paragraph could hold them all. Instead, it is more like a compass or a North Star. It points toward who we are called to be, so that over time, the plans we create and the decisions we make can line up with that direction. And in the months ahead, a 5-year strategic financial plan will also take shape based on this vision, and you will have chances to respond to that work as well. The concrete ideas you've named will be there as seeds and touchstones, helping us see where energy and longing already live. But today, we begin with the words that try to name our shared spirit. The board asked 3 people to serve as a vision-honing team: Kimberly Cloutier-Green, Alyssa Murphy, and Lori Bilby. They together have read and reread your input, listened for common threads, written and rewritten, and crafted a statement designed to reflect who we are and who we hope to become. And you will get to hear from them now about what this work has meant and how the statement before you, which, by the way, is in your order of service in the insert in it, you'll see right there is the statement if you want to take a look at it. They will talk about how that statement came into being and how they hope to see it come to life. Although Kimberly Green could not be with us in person this morning as she is traveling, she kindly recorded her reflection so that we can hear directly from her.
Good morning, South Church. I wish I were with you in the pews this morning, but I can imagine our beautiful sanctuary. The light pouring in the windows, the stories and singing, the silences. And I'll be voting online when the time comes, grateful to join you in this from afar. Last spring, Alyssa, Lori, and I were charged with distilling and refining the wonderful ideas that emerged from our all-church visioning workshops, and then to continue in conversation with you through the feedback and revision process. Large-scale projects like this one can sometimes feel unwieldy, but this experience has felt focused, clear, and purposeful. As we work together, I came to see that what we do at South Church, which is described beautifully in our mission statement, springs from a deep well of hope that gathers us and galvanizes us as we try to make our vision of a more just, compassionate, and thriving world real and radiant. Tapping into that hope and sifting for the words that express it best, the words you gave us, has been a profound gift. I think it's extraordinary, really, that we've been trying to paint a vision of who we are and what we dream, even as so much collapses around us. The vision statement we're voting on this morning is written in the present tense, and this feels right, in part because it pushes against despair in any age, but also because the hope it reflects is dynamically alive within all of us now, always now. Hope fuels our care for one another, and it guides the choices and commitments we make year in and year out as we bring to life the kind of world that we imagine is possible for everyone, both within and beyond our walls. As an expression of who we are, what we aspire to be together, our vision statement is all at once the place where we begin and the arrival we dream. Our mission statement nests within and emerges from that vision. I knew we had come to the best version of this statement when it also began to feel like a summons, because this vision statement will call us in and through all our differences and across time to remember who we are together, to be courageous, to reach for the fullest expression of our values in our ministries, in our social action, in our stewardship, and in our care for the earth. Thank you all for your good spirit, imagination, your wisdom, and above all, for your hope, which is woven into every word.
Hi, my name's Alyssa Murphy, and I'm going to share a little bit about how we work together. When we emerged from the Vision Weekend and the Vision Circles that you've heard about, we had a wealth of collected thoughts, hopes, and dreams, all captured in several giant spreadsheets. And my family knows, like Anna, I love a spreadsheet. But in this case, there was just so much information, the sheer volume was really daunting. More than 100 people had contributed to the trove of collected wisdom, and I was concerned that we wouldn't be able to adequately honor all of the input that we'd received. But I was really heartened upon our first meeting. The three of us came together over a lovely meal that Kimberly served us, and our first work together was to develop a covenant. Writing a covenant echoed something we do in so many groups at South Church, from RE classes to small group ministry to the board of trustees. It felt like something that immediately grounded us in our work. We committed not only to reflect the aspirations of the community, but we also talked about how we wanted to be with each other. And I loved one word that came up: curiosity. We committed to be curious throughout the process, not to be too precious, but to really hear one another's interpretations of the words and how the language was landing for all of us. But if anyone remembers the last time they were asked to do a group project in school or anywhere else, you can identify with the vacillation between being unsure and hesitant about putting your ideas forward, and other times when you're pretty sure you're right. The writing was a dance we did together with care and curiosity over a series of really delightful gatherings. Our consultant, Rachel Maxwell, who led the Vision Circles last spring, let us know that it was likely that there would be a big difference between our first draft, and our second draft, and probably only a small difference between the second and the third. And she was really right. Listening to the first round of feedback, we could tell right away what resonated and what didn't. Many people took the time to share really thoughtful feedback that we greatly appreciated, and it was really helpful in finding our way. It clarified our path to our second draft, and what we heard on the round of the second draft affirmed that we'd taken steps in the right direction.
I'm Lori Bilby, and I'm just going to talk for a minute about at least one of the challenges that we faced along the way. So, not since I was a teaching assistant at Ball State University in central Indiana in my early 20s, teaching freshman composition, have I spent so much time considering the placement of commas. Everyone who has any interest in written English, and perhaps other languages as well, seems to have his or her own opinion about where and why to use or not use a comma. We in this congregation are not an exception. It was one of the surprising phenomena of this writing project for me that Kimberly and Alyssa and I would care so much about the smallest parts of our work, bringing together not only the heart of all of our collective hopes and dreams for South Church, but also wanting so passionately to find as near perfect an expression of that distillation as we could. And it turns out that our thoughts about how to do this were not always in perfect alignment. Even when we had found our way to the words we didn't even know we needed, even after we understood the flow of concepts and the weight of your feedback, we still talked then about commas and conjunctions and parallel structures. We wrestled with the spirit, the content, and the mechanics of each draft. And as we do when we are doing church very, very well, we listened to one another. We went to the why this work and this statement was important to us as a congregation and what it meant to us personally. We inquired of each other and ourselves whether there was an equally satisfactory way to say it another way. Often there was. Sometimes there was just not. There have been times in this lovely and messy process when I have leaned into and learned from the beautiful and honed aesthetic that each of my comrades brought to this project and could so clearly articulate. And there were times when I was less than willing to let go of a phrase, a term, another freaking comma. For me, the story of writing of the South Church Vision Statement draft really is the story of why I'm here and what I believe we're doing here. For boldly and intentionally looking forward together. For tenderly looking inward at what matters to me and why. For the learning, comma, the laughter, comma, and the love, period. And there's your Oxford comma, my friends, because it's a lot about the commas. And it's not about the commas at all.
What I love about what the three of you have shared is how deeply you have held the congregation's heart in this work. You've gathered a small mountain of hopes and longings and carried them with care. In this way, this process has been moving toward an act of release. You have listened, you have shaped and reshaped, you have wrestled with words and commas and big questions, and now you are handing this back to the community like a vessel waiting to be filled. Because this statement is not meant to capture every one of our ideas and dreams. No single set of sentences could do that. The vision lives not only in what is written, but in how we each bring it to life. In a few minutes, when you vote, you are not just voting on the words, you are saying yes to the spirit that brought them forth. Yes to being rooted in love. Yes to acting with courage. Yes to serving with joy for a more just, compassionate, and thriving world. And As with any vision, the real work begins after the vote, in how we keep waking up to it and living it together. And on that note, I invite you to join in singing our closing hymn. It's number 1028, Fire of Commitment. We will be singing verses 1 and 3. Please rise in body or in spirit.
From the light of days remembered burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our minds and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin.
I'd like to invite Mark Eves forward, our board vice president, to help us begin our future by calling this meeting to order.
Great. Thank you, Reverend Allen. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mark Eves, co-chair on the Board of Trustees, serving as chair of this meeting this morning. So a bit of the business of the meeting. The first is to establish a quorum. If you are a voting member, the way that I'm going to do this, if you are a voting member, if you could just raise your hand, and if you are a member, you are a voting member, if that needs clarification. Seeing sufficient numbers, I declare there is a quorum. Second, a little bit about how we're going to vote today, because we are here in the sanctuary and we are also in community online. So to vote here in the sanctuary, I will ask you to raise your hand and keep them lifted while counters have a chance to take a count. And if you were at the auction last night, you know how this goes. Just raise your hand, keep it up there until we can get all the votes counted. If you are online, please open the live chat feature and comment in favor or opposed along with your name. If there is more than one member in the room with you, please list each member and their vote separately so that we can record that. We will acknowledge your vote with a reply comment so you know it's been counted. All right, so our elected moderator, John Shea, is not able to be with us here this morning, so the next order of business is to be able to elect a moderator for the day. And on that note, do I have a motion to elect Janet Prince as our monitor for the day? I have a motion from Charlotte. Do we have a second? Jim Bashern seconds the motion. All in favor? Any opposed? The motion passes. Janet Prince will serve as our moderator for the day. Very exciting. All right, to the business. First, I just want to say a few comments before we get to the vote. This morning, we as a congregation will be completing a significant step in the process of adopting a vision statement for South Church. We have had many conversations, as Alyssa and Lori have outlined here, and the vision honing team has done a tremendous job with many opportunities of input from our community. There's been time for questions, so we won't be doing that today. We've had an 8-month process to do that. Today we'll be simply taking a clean, clear, up and down vote on whether you would like to adopt the vision statement. Today's meeting will not include discussion, so in a few moments we will invite all members to vote yay or nay. This is up or down vote. And no vote would not lead to discussion, but going back to the drawing board, which I think is an important piece of information there. So we'll just have a straight up or down vote. And on behalf of the board, I offer sincere and deep thanks to everyone who has participated in this rich process over the last 8 months, and a special thank you to the honing committee who thoughtfully engaged on all the commas and periods and handled it with great care and a great outcome. Thank you all. Deserves a round of applause for sure. All right, and with that, I will invite our moderator for the day, Janet Prince, to the pulpit. And as she makes her way, we're going to take a couple of motions and a vote. I think we can do this. So we're going to do this together. We're going to figure this out together. Without John Shea here, it's just, we've relied on him for so many years, but we're going to make it through. So I am going to call for a motion to adopt the vision statement for South Church. Nope, Brad. And Brad we have relied on for many, many years. So Brad is going to.
It's Janet's meeting. She will do all the motions.
All the motions will be Janet.
I'm the moderator. Come on, Mark.
Thank you, Brad.
Oh, power. Does that mean I can change some of the commas? Because I do have a little bit of thing about that myself. Thank you, everyone. Our first order of business is to entertain a motion to adopt the vision statement. Who would like to make that motion? And somebody is taking notes of who that will be. Please. Thank you. And who would like to second the motion? Oh my goodness, I get to pick Val. Valerie Fagan. And somebody has writing that down? Thank you. Okay, and my understanding is there will be no discussion, so I would like to call the vote. All those in, no? At the same time. Okay. The second motion that I need, please, is that we will vote immediately. There will be no discussion. Who would like to make that motion? First hand up, this gentleman right here. And does everybody know who that is? Jesse, thank you. And a second, please, Jim Verschuren. Great. Now, I will call both one. The vote to vote immediately. We will call that question without discussion. All those in favor, and remember the part about leave your hands raised and make your comments online. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Somebody is counting. Yeah. It's a visual 2/3. I think we're good. Good? Okay, and now I call the question to vote to adopt the South Church vision statement with. Oh, well, no. Is anybody opposed? Somebody in the back? Thank you, Brad. So noted. Thank you. And now to proceed with the vote to adopt the vision statement with its commas in place. Please signify your support by raising your hand or voting online. The motion passes. Congratulations, and thanks everybody for their hard work. Now I would entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting. This gentleman right here. Thank you. And a second. Any discussion? We didn't talk about that for this. Okay, and we're right on time, thanks to Anna. That's another one of her checkmarks. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Janet. Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you so much, South Church. Can we just applaud what we just did? Before I share our closing words, don't forget, you have a chance to make sure you win the auction items you want downstairs, open till noon. And of course, the raffle for the pledge drive. They tell me if you get your pledge in at coffee hour, you can still be entered. And to come downstairs for the best prize of all, which is to spend some time with these nice, loving, creative, adventurous, thoughtful people who are only a little bit of a pain sometimes. Oh, let's read it all together. Thank you. Maybe those will be our closing words. Let's read them all together as our closing words. And by the way, after the closing words, we'll process out, and then you may all process out behind us to your lives or to downstairs. Yeah. And we have to extinguish the flame before we offer these words. So when we're out of our routine, it's interesting and creative. So we'll do that first.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and into the world, including your places of employment, until we're together again.
Thank you, Anna. All right, if you have your insert, please pull that out now. South Church is widely known as a vibrant spiritual home where people of all ages and abilities, beliefs and identities seek meaning and purpose, inspiration and comfort. Rooted in love, we carry forward a legacy of care for one another, our seacoast community, and the earth we share. United in our ever-deepening practice of Unitarian Universalist values, we act with courage and serve with joy for a more just, compassionate, and thriving world. May we keep waking up to this vision together. Amen. Go in peace.